expensive gifts you gave them, huh? Yeah.
Well, that's what John and I found last year is the most I ever found.
Well, that was just a freak look deal.
That's because you were here.
No, well, that,
I'm sure glad it was.
Don't say that, let's go ahead, but when we come back today, then I'll start thinking about that. We'd have 120.
I'm glad it happened with you.
Yeah, well, sure.
But that's what you came down here for, huh?
Yeah, well, that got shared a little bit, we took some room.
Yes, you sent
So we
3
spread
quarts
them out,
home.
what we got there, they
You
all
sent
got
3
paid.
quarts home with me, so I gave 1 to Weber's and 1 to John, and we kept 1.
Yeah.
Then I told them all how you did it. And
We did it. We have, you and me both at this thing for how many hours?
it was fun.
Oh,
this,
sure.
I got the 3 jars in a basket, and I asked her at Christmas time if I could send them home for a refill.
this Gene Todd, the guy that hangs out at the shop quite a bit, he's got a timber out there, and he finds mushrooms, he brings them, puts them on our back step. They don't like
They
them.
don't like them,
Ain't that something?
so they bring them to us.
They just don't eat them.
That's it. You hear about those things. Of course, Uncle
They like
Bud-
to hunt them, but they don't want to eat them.
It's like cake, right?
Oh, not Uncle Bud, well, Bud's one who told the story.
Well, I think there's a lot of mushrooms up around Spring Green, Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Let them go
Wisconsin,
from here up
they
there.
get lots of them.
Yeah.
We had some neighbors in Oak Park, and they used to find them by the bushel. They had a
Well,
house
I've
up
heard
in
of that, but I
Wisconsin.
didn't.
They had a little farm thing that I think wasn't far from
Oh,
Spring Green.
Well,
The
look
guy
at
who was
there.
a no,
Let's take a ride and go to a motel for a night.
what was his name? The guy who was the
What?
Bob,
We've been on a
Phillips?
motel down in
no,
Spring Green.
the political
got a-
guy.
they got a-
The guy who was a congressman.
Theater up there, open area.
I know
Type
you
What
of-
do you call
They
them?
were
Shakespearean
kitty corner across the
plays.
street from us.
Yeah.
Well,
Big
Ron,
is outside.
the Boy Scout troop
Well,
from Carlock
open
here,
air.
went to Spring Green on a camping
What are
trip
outside
for
the
a
downs,
week, I
downs.
think.
Oh,
And
Lenny
I,
used to
well,
go
2 or
with
3
them.
fathers
Lenny
went
used
Then
to
we
go
over
did
at
it
there.
at
different
Kelly, that
times.
gave you some books.
So we were close to
That
Spring
fat
Green.
cat book came from
Mhm.
Kelly.
And
That
there's
was
a river there, it's a pretty good size.
Yeah.
Wisconsin
There's a
River.
There's a river there.
That Lenny that John used to go see,
I'm not
he used to
sure.
go picking mushrooms by the buckets.
Back them days, Wisconsin wouldn't allow them to color oleo.
Yeah, I remember that, when Aunt Lori would come down and buy the oleo and
Oh,
color
yeah.
it at our house.
Well, we
Texas.
didn't-
Well, they used to put a little
They
bag
used to,
of
you put a
color.
little
Some
round
more in here.
capsule in there like, that thing with the oleo thing, you had, if you wanted colored oleo, you had it colored yourself.
Wisconsin hung on
That
to
was
that for a
illegal.
long time, and kind of a dairy.
And then some of them had a little packet of powder that you put it in a bowl and mixed it up.
I
I remember that, I remember the
I
capsule.
just ran into town to get groceries in
Yeah,
there.
we called
Got
it
some
oleo,
oleo,
and now
and
they
the kids
call it
looked at it,
margarine.
what's that? White stuff.
Yeah. Well, my dad wouldn't even, we never had anything else, but we always had butter on the table. That was just, that was a symbol, I guess it was, at least,
proud thing.
we always had butter on the table, that they could
Well, I
say.
remember when I was a kid, we used to go out and skim the cream off the top of the milk.
Yeah,
We,
until they started testing it for butter
no,
fat.
no.
That's fine.
When,
Started
they,
there.
they used to,
Did you catch one for yourself?
Grammy, I want a
Yeah,
picture of you
I
and
did.
Rachel with a smile.
Oh,
Take
You
a look.
have to look, okay, ready, set, oh, that's a good picture too, that's a real good picture.
oh,
That's the end, okay, they're gonna
that,
get,
he's
we're
got
gonna
the,
find, we're gonna get some more.
look at that, you got that?
Mhm.
Beautiful stuff. Tastes
You're
good.
looking like gold.
I tried freezing
holding
them
those
one year,
mushrooms.
and when
Hey Dad, let's get you holding those mushrooms, wait,
They
bring them
does
closer to
look
you
like
because I can't
flavor.
get everything in from
Where do you
this.
want it?
I want them closer to you. That's right. Okay.
Mmm,
You should lick your tongue.
I don't know if it'll work because of the window there, but.
Yeah, there you go.
We were, Johnny, Sean's got a little guinea pig in his room. No, it was the girls up in Wisconsin, or in Michigan, got a little guinea pig in their room. And
Tame?
it's in the schoolroom.
Oh, in the school.
preschool kids.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, Catherine had to show us all these things. So then we told her about the guinea pig her daddy used to have, and when the girls brought a couple of exchange
Fingers were
students
made
home.
before pork.
One of them was from, what, Australia?
No. One was German and one was Colombia. It's the one in
Anyway,
South
he
America,
showed, he
huh?
was so proud of his little fat guinea pig.
That's
He
right.
could put it in a
They eat 'em,
toy
they're
and wheel it around and it was, that was the fattest little pig you ever saw.
Probably fed it all the time.
Well, he showed it to the girl from Colombia, see? She licks her chops. She was, they eat them down there.
In Japan, they eat cats too. They're short.
We didn't,
Take the pumpkin blossoms,
yeah.
dip them in egg and flour, and fry them out.
Just
It's
like
got-
Some
they
people
got
put
flavor.
egg on these things too.
They got a lot of, they just got a lot of flavor.
And then they crisp up. If you
Well,
wanna
yeah.
eat them right away
About
too, 'cause then they get
95%
soggy.
of your calories come
But
from
you've eaten
fat.
a French donut, haven't you? Those donuts that are mostly egg.
And shouldn't,
Huh?
and shouldn't.
Well, it tastes like.
Right, you might as well
Your-
finish
your
them
eyes
all.
were-
You know, on the farm then. Most of it, our place, they all with whole milk and you only got paid by the butter fat. But they were separating it, they all had separators. And they were separating that stuff and come home with that cream in by the can. And we got sick of it after a while. It
For
just
an
got-
hour or so. in the kitchen.
that was so rich and to
That's
this
what the
day.
separator would do.
You
That's
have
that
a
bit I
little
said.
letter opener
Whipped
so
cream
that you
doesn't,
can
hasn't got that
do
much
that for
appeal.
yourself.
Where does that do?
And he retired from Firestone, getting a pension.
Well,
And Roland's boy Eddie, he's 52, he retired
Yeah,
from Caterpillar
little kids.
on a
I
pension.
just wondered how old he was.
Beacon
52
Hill.
years old.
But he had 30 years of,
It's a picture
30
frame,
years
I
of
think.
service.
Sort of like having time into the military and.
Made in
yeah,
China.
well, they got
You
that,
retire with the military at 20.
they had a pension that was commensurate with that
He was
certain
in the
time.
Navy after he got two boys. They're both grown and married.
But
You-
he's
you
got a good
used
pension
to
and
like
good money
to-
coming in, yeah.
Johnny and I used to do that.
Break them.
I remember we would jump on them.
Oh,
We would, the bubble thing.
yeah.
Yeah, they can always,
We used to love to do that.
they're comparatively new, they haven't been around forever.
I was
You can just
asking
pull it out.
Wanda last night about her folks, Jerry Crump. Here a couple, 3 years ago, he had a heart valve replaced. He got on pretty good with that.
Oh,
He wound up with
there's the
diabetes
picture.
now.
What is it?
Picture frame.
Oh,
Oh,
frame.
how nice.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Who did that? That's a goodie, that's good.
Lowell and Wanda.
That, yeah, one of the cousins did that.
Oh, they might have had
Cards.
the picture of
Yeah, the
Lowell.
cards that Lou and Wanda,
What?
that was
They
the
might have
thing.
had the picture of.
You,
No, the
Harvey,
picture is
and
just
A.
the
Blanche.
invitation.
Right, this is
I've got
Oh.
the
Lou and
original
Wanda.
picture at
Oh,
our
oh,
house.
oh, oh, oh.
So that picture was with them. This
Right.
was on top of it.
That's nice.
How do you know?
Well,
I picked out this ring with another soldier. Harvey had to go on some kind of a doings and we was gonna go
And
hunting
this
a wedding
this
ring.
Was just
So the other
another
guy went
little
with
thing like
Yeah.
this, that
Well, it
was a
wasn't
paper,
along
almost
the
like a
street
paper
then.
doily, they
Yeah.
were little things that you could stick, well, I had them on the
But
envelopes,
anyway,
is it one on the
it-
back
the-
of your envelope? Okay.
The sticker.
Yes, well, that's
Oh,
what this
looking
was,
at
I
wedding
laid
rings.
that on the
I like
original
that.
picture
Anyway,
and, just
but
put
the
it in the
clerk, I
copy
think he wondered
machine.
what's going on
Just
here.
a
Grandpa's
Our
regular
copy
copy.
machine,
I wasn't
yeah.
asking him,
Did
but
it?
talking, you know.
John was putting a new master in it.
This one was the one
With
or
blue,
what?
that's,
Uh,
I don't wanna pay
he
$700
was with
for a
me,
little
so I
thing
didn't have to go.
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Last month we did.
Who was it, Mom? Do you remember?
Just the idea. You can go down there and get them for 3
Oh,
cents a
no,
copy or
yeah, I
5
don't
cents
remember.
anyhow.
Just the convenience. of
Anyway,
it
but
doing
that clerk,
What we use
I
it.
think he
Yeah.
wondered what was going on.
We use our.
do you
next
remember who
door
went
neighbors
looking for
all-
wedding rings with Mom, Dad?
You had to go out on something to.
When we got married, I sent home, I had a $25 saving bond, it was worth $18.75. I sent home and had my dad cash that and send me the money. And she borrowed money off her sister to come to Arkansas, so that's how much
Esther,
money.
That's how
That
it's come
Esther
out.
that was there last night. That's before she cursed me.
But anyhow, well, I had a 37 Chevrolet, it was the only worldly goods I had. Some,
And then a soldier wrecked
some
it.
GI borrowed it and wrecked it. He said, oh, it ain't hurt bad. And I went
It
and
was in a
found
junkyard.
junkyard. And I got it fired up and drove it home. The whole front corner was bashed in. You couldn't turn a corner right. You had to
Do everything
back
right.
up 2 or 3 times to make the corner. And parked it in front of the apartment. And we had insurance on it. We sent in the insurance company and they sent us like $250. That's what I gave for the car. And she sold the car after I went overseas for $200.
Amos and
So we got
Loretta.
$450 out of it. What?
Amos and Loretta Kaufman, Funk. Who are they?
Somebody must have brought
No,
that, or is that, do we have, no, surely we don't have somebody else's cards, right?
I had a,
It's an anniversary card, isn't it?
Yeah. And it says Blanche and
It
Harvey
does
on
say
the
Blanche
top
and
of it.
Harvey, I don't think there was another Blanche and Harvey
I'd
there.
say that's Loretta Kaufman, that's Leslie Dorothy's sister. She got married again,
Oh, she did?
yes. And
There's
that's-
25 Linda Lane,
That,
would be,
that's close to,
that's Alma.
Shefflin's.
Yeah.
But this is Amos or something, but Loretta Kaufman, she was John Kaufman's
That's
wife.
A-M-O-S.
And he died and she married this funk.
What's turned on over there? Yes, it is.
Call-
They do remember. That's a pretty. This is a day to remember the pleasures and happiness you've known, the smiles, the laughter, and the sharing. It's a day to remember the moments that have become so special. And the love that has grown deeper over the years. May you have a memorable 50th anniversary. We're having a memorable 50th anniversary to cherish in the years to come. God bless and love
I need you.
Eddie and
Need my rest.
Joanne. Her name's Joanne. Okay. I never did get playing with her. Eddie and Joanne.
Silly boys over here.
Harvey and Blanche. Well, that's fancy, right?
I see silly boy over there.
yeah.
Wonderful kids, our 5 husbands.
You guys in love or something?
You always were.
Yep.
That was.
It's almost 50
We
years.
never had any problem there, did we?
Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me
Says
what,
here. Oh, they're roses.
what we did on our honeymoon, and I said, is we never came off it.
Just like you and I, Janice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, there aren't many of them. I walk with
Yeah, your
Are you
honeymoon
laughing?
to
Are
where?
you
The
laughing?
Four Flags Motor Inn in Niles, Michigan. Bats in the dining room.
Really?
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. See if I ever take you on another honeymoon.
I'm going to Hawaii for mine.
Well,
Speeding ticket.
I walk.
We didn't have any money.
Lives. Did you get a speeding ticket with with
Yeah.
our car?
Yeah.
In Marshall, Michigan.
Hey, that is among your happiest. A year in which new plans work out. We don't need no new plans. And favorite dreams come true, the kind that filled with still more joy and happiness for you. Yeah, so I could walk without stumbling. God bless you all for that, John. Oh, that's from you.
Okay.
Thank you. You've kept a golden promise that love can last for life.
Isn't that pretty?
That's a
Well, sometimes.
nice one.
Who's that from?
Oh!
Can take that to the
Oh, that's
farm.
Eddie and Lola. She used to be a lot full face and a little on the heavy side. She was heavier than me, but now
She's,
she's got skin and bone. And just white, so white, her face.
Speaking of skin and bones with some of his questions last night, I bet those papers are a stitch to read.
It's got in the
Oh.
back.
And she says, I never lost $90 so fast in my life.
That's too much. I lost 40.
But we had a mother that went onto the riverboat the
That's
other
pretty,
day
huh?
and left a little 2.5-year-old
Paul
girl
Roxanne.
in
In
the
the
car
car.
for 8 hours.
8 hours.
She came right
And
away.
then she missed the boat, stayed on it, and then
Didn't
they
get
made the
off.
second trip out on the boat.
Did they take the
Uncle
baby away from
Harvey
her?
and Aunt Blanche.
Yeah, but baby had been taken away before. And then
Somebody
the reason they caught her, how was come they caught her? Because
Somebody reported a
A
child
child
in the
in the
parking lot
car.
in the car.
there wasn't no time,
Mice.
it was in the sun
Mice.
and it was gone.
Because it was in the,
They'll go in
Yeah,
through some of the other
for
ones,
tables.
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of censored them first and picked out the cute stuff.
Some of them, some of them.
That's cute.
The only Dorothy that's left.
Well, I think what they want to do is find something that from almost everybody.
Yeah,
Did
I
you
didn't
Some of
put.
them have Harvey.
no.
And we wrote to each other for about a year before we even gave each other a kiss.
Bob and
That might be.
Bob and Abby Reeser.
But,
But you proposed to her at the city dump? I can't believe
I
that.
don't really remember proposing. I remember that I gave her the ring. That's much I remember.
Merchandise value of $20 up on
I think about that time we just took each other for granted. We knew
Wilmington
we've
family.
been knowing, we were friends, and she did her
Wilmington
dating, I did
Family
my dating.
Restaurant, where's that?
We were never without.
76.
About the time, I guess maybe we.
Oh boy, a gift certificate to the 76 truck stop.
Then we were the,
I don't see where it says 70.
we were
Bloomington
the
Family
same wedding
Restaurant,
party.
that's what they call it.
It's
Who's
a 76.
Huh?
Who's
Keisler's.
wedding?
But who,
Then,
who's it from? That's
That's-
pretty sure.
and
Oh,
then
that's
I was
nice.
ready to go at the service.
They go regular to Las Vegas.
I was telling you about them meeting.
Oh.
Huh?
Oh, well, then we.
That's all right. That's all right.
Huh? Well, I was ready to go to service. Then we talked about writing. So after I got overseas, I did write a letter. Then it came
Well,
out.
I
and
didn't know
got so-
76.
really got to know
Wilmington
each other.
Family Restaurant.
So by the time we got ready to come home, I think we
Who
were ready to
calls?
take each other for granted.
Well, I
I
don't
think
know,
so.
That was
Way
it.
to sign.
That's nice.
Somehow we knew this was it.
I met him through Waterloo,
Well, she says Walter Lee, I don't remember exactly.
through
So-
Alice over.
That's what it is, golden
It could've been.
anniversary. Look at the
It
boat
was
out
a-
there.
we were always part of the same game.
A boat and a cab.
And always dancing together, always everything else.
Yeah.
And
Oh, money.
Oh, now it's already split up. That's good. So you can
Yeah.
go play the
Bye,
quarter
Maybe
machines,
a lot.
and you can go play blackjack, and you're all
Oh,
set.
Lucille, and she didn't get to come. She's the one that broke her knee or fell on that broken knee.
Yeah,
That they
she's
had
had
wired
both
it.
hips fractured, she's had a
And
hand.
And we filled the stocking, they had to go clear to the toe of the stocking to get the money.
Oh, great.
We kept telling them, go on, there's some more in there, you know? And that was right in here.
Yep.
Anyway, it was fun.
Well, now you went to Indianapolis, picked up another couple, didn't you?
Yeah.
A few dollars to go to the Rose Bowl Area Joy. New daughter, it is a new promotion, a new home. What do you say to people who have been there for you all your life? All you can say is, thank you, I love you. Thank you, I love you. What would we have done without you? We'd have probably been divorced by now. We didn't have anything to hang together with. No.
The funny one is our first Christmas with these two little guys. Remember, they were just learning to climb and they went up over the presents and all.
Oh, in there.
Yeah.
Johnny was,
Yeah,
Johnny
they
was
was
there
there,
too, and
yeah.
they had a ball in there.
Yep. And then they discovered the ribbons came off. Then everything came off.
And
You had
Johnny
to
would
have
say,
a Merry
right,
Christmas
Rach?
doing something.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, I was reading, I'm sorry, what did you say?
In the first Christmas, because you were 11 months. Well, how old were they?
Oh, here, at this
Thelma
house, I
wrote the
remember
whole
that.
thing here.
I don't remember it, but I remember seeing
Well,
pictures
from
of it.
Christmas, first Christmas,
Their first
he would have been
Christmas
10 months,
together.
and Johnny was a little over 9.
And you could both climb,
No, he wasn't over 9.
and you
Yeah, he
learned
was.
a few little words. And he would say, yeah, Rach, yeah, Rach.
Not bad Christmas though, he was only 9 months old,
Yeah,
couldn't
that
talk
was
yet
the
then.
second Christmas.
We lived over there in that
Second
little
Christmas
house.
memory. So Johnny could say that really early.
No, that was Christmas number 2, but the first one you climbed all over the present here. We had that one.
We used to be. I will, yeah.
Rach has to do a project for history class.
Okay.
Okay, this is your, this is from when you were in World War II?
Yeah.
What did you do? What was your?
I was a mechanic. This is a ruptured duck. You ever hear that saying, John?
Yeah, I heard that saying.
Well, that's when you got discharged, they put that ruptured duck on your uniform.
I don't think that's really what it is.
Yeah, that's what they call it. And I don't know what this is. I had some sharp shooting metals and stuff. I don't know what happened to them, but somehow or other this don't reach.
Well, what happened?
I don't know.
It must have shrunk. You wouldn't think that stuff would
Well, some
shrink
of them
like
were
that.
time stripes, weren't they?
What's the rank here?
Tech sergeant.
Okay. What's that at the 4 up there? On
Up
the,
here, so on the chart.
Oh, that was the 4th Armored I wound up in overseas.
That says 16.
This says
16th Armored
16.
Division.
Yeah, that's what I went overseas with.
okay.
And when it disbanded, then they put us in the 4th Armored Division.
Okay, so you were in a couple of different divisions.
Yeah, but the war was over when we went to the 4th.
Okay.
What now? Where you were in Germany, you said,
Yeah, 15 months.
and you ended up in Munich.
I was in Munich, I was in a lot of towns. Bremerhaven, we flew, shipped home from Bremerhaven. We landed in Le Havre, France, and we went over. We went clear across Germany to Pilsen, Czechoslovakia, when the war ended. We was in Pilsen.
Did you see any of the
Very
concentration
little
camps?
combat. Some of our armored infantry got some skirmishes, but the rest of us was behind the lines in the maintenance.
Did you see any of the concentration camps?
Oh, I saw the one
At Dachau? No?
Dachau, Munchen or Munich.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it. You saw that, didn't you?
No, I didn't go when I've been there, so I
What
should go
about
and see that.
D-Day? Were you around for D-Day?
You were on the boat, right? Coming
No.
back when they had.
No, it was D-Day. I don't know where we were at.
Oh, that's right. D-Day was in Europe, and then VJ Day
Yeah.
must have been after you got
Well,
back.
when the
maybe.
war ended in Europe, they moved us back to a little town of Osh, Czechoslovakia, which is what they call the Sudetenland. And I heard that it's a strip of land between Germany and Czechoslovakia. And after a Munich Pact of 38, the people voted to go into Germany rather than Czechoslovakia. The war ended. They gave all this land to the Czechs, and the Germans had to move out.
Oh,
Lost their farms, their homes,
Everything.
everything. So I'll show the two grandmas.
okay.
That on like my grandparents who were in World War II. So tell
So
me,
where were you in
where
World War II?
Where was I in World War II?
Yes.
Started out boot camp in Norfolk.
Okay.
And we had a little training, what they called advanced training, in Virginia Beach. Then, from there on out with Pneumonia Gulch. Now Jody lives there, so I don't care too much about Virginia Beach. Then we went to Hueneme, California, which is supposed to be a little advanced thing, but all this stuff took place in a matter of about 12 weeks. And then up to Seattle, where we caught a boat, and we went to Sitka, Alaska.
Now, was this when was this all
This
Seabees?
was in '42.
What branch? It was.
This is Seabees.
Seabees.
We were construction battalions. Everybody had some training, and actually you went in with a rate based on your age at that time. And then of course your skill is usually commensurate, but not always. But anyway, we went up there in Seattle, then in Sitka, Alaska, and Sitka there we went out to the island St. Luzaire, and that was off Baranoff Island, about 13, 14 miles, and built a couple of gun mounts. There was a construction there where this was a magazine. There was a magazine with walls, like for instance, 3 foot thick, and it held a roof that was 6 foot of concrete thick. And on this, all for 2 shore batteries. Because at that time these were shore rifles that they could get boats and submarines or whatever they felt was out there from the offshore. We were there for 7 months, and then we went out to Attu. Attu was the farthest island out on the Aleutians chain. And it was 600 miles from the Kuriles. There they built an air base, and they made preparations to capture Kiska, which was in between. It was, they were on one of the Aleutian Islands. And among the things I remember there, they came over and they bombed us, and it was kind of like the 4th of July, really, when you saw it. I don't remember anybody getting hurt. And they take the old PBYs, and they'd run some of these over. This was Navy. We were building, actually our job at Attu was to build the Navy base and the air base there. And they had a submarine repair base, and then they had the airfield. So that was a chopped out deal. But the weather up there was roughest in the world as far as miserable weather is concerned. And yet, the two of the greatest things in my life, the two awesome things, was a sunrise. This was so unusual, just so beautiful. And then there was a night that we went to Bible class. I was going to Bible class, and there was mountains. There were no trees. You know, there was just the wind was too. It was too heavy for trees. And we looked at this mountain. It was just awesome. It was between like a jewel, and had various shades from light blue to deep purple. And then walking home from camp, I went out and got the newspaper, and you could read the newspaper. And then I wrote Mother a letter from there. And we had a rough trip going home. Before we got home, we got 103-mile-an-hour winds, which tore the island almost apart in 9 months. And we made it. But we rolled all the way home in a Liberty ship, a couple of weeks.
When did you get out? What?
And, well, this was the first trip out. Then we got back. Now this is getting into 44. And then in between, Mother and I got married, 1st of July, and then I went out for another trip. Yeah, because they broke up the 22nd Battalion. They were overskilled and so forth, so they broke these things up. Because the early battalion, the average age was 32 years. And here I am, 24, 23, somewhere along that. Went out, then I got stuck with a stevedore battalion. And I didn't like that. I didn't care for it, so they sent me down to the Navy base where we shored up LSTs and different boats that were going out on invasions, putting equipment on them and this, that, and the other.
What base was that?
That was Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor. Okay.
This is Pearl Harbor, and after about 12 weeks of that, then they said, well, you'll learn to be a winchman. And I didn't want that. The winchman would go out on a boat on the invasions, and they'd be on the regular commercial vessels, and they'd ride along, and when they got to the point of the invasion, the winchman would help unload the ship. That was their whole job. Nice deal. I figured no mail, no anything, and I didn't want to learn that. So then I went out, then they sent me out as a replacement battalion, or as a replacement company, part of a replacement company, to Tinian, this was the 121st Seabees who had invaded Saipan and Tinian. They'd lost one company, and so we came along as replacements. On Tinian, they built the largest airfield in the world. There were 6 strips, and the B-29s were new at that time. Anyway, the other thing about that was there was one strip they lengthened, and they come in with 10 planes. It seems like these 10 planes, there was something different about these 10 planes, and they guarded them. It seemed like there was a single bomb bay and less gun turrets, or there was enough that there was something different. And now this is getting into June, and this is the end on this, this is getting into June of 45, in this period of time. Anyway, at that time, one of the fellows that I still remembered and was with was one of the fellows in the first trip out, Bucky Walters, lived in Effingham, Illinois. And he was old enough to be discharged because they were taking some of the old chief petty officers, and they had 300-400 in a pile, and they were sending them back home.
The one that came, I wrote pictures.
And okay, they were sending them back home, and he came over to say goodbye, and he was telling me that, these 10 planes down here, and well, everybody knew the 10 planes down there, and he says one of the captains came over from one of these planes. He says they had some machinist work they want to do. They're looking for a machinist. He says, they got a bomb that's going to knock out, I don't remember exactly, but like 10 or 20 square miles. Well, that was unheard of. And and the only thing I could think back is high school chemistry and the possibility of an atom bomb. And at any rate, the time came along for that they moved us. In the first part of July, they moved us over to Saipan, which is an island only 3 miles over. And there they had 2 strips. And there we were to hook up with the 5th Marine Division, as I remember it. And from there on out, we did miscellaneous things. Fact is, we glorified a tent for General LeMay. And I can remember he had a refrigerator, he had some I.W. Harper whiskey, which we drank, and a little beer. We thanked him, and the next day we came back and it was replaced. I never met him, never met the man, but I guess what we did was all right. And the other thing I did was the first time I got away from carpenter work, really, and we went out and tended a water station, and then the day came when the atom bomb was dropped. Now this, of all rumors, you heard rumors all through your service life, but now when the atom bomb was dropped, this was the end of the war for us, because the Japanese were so fanatic at that particular time, and this was all that was left, was to go up into Japan, and there would have been a one-on-one basis. That atom bomb saved more lives than I think anything ever did save, because that would have been one of the worst things that could have ever happened. And incidentally, there's a couple other things. On the island Tinian, 1/3 of the B-29s, this was around the clock operation, 1/3 of the B-29s were dropping incendiary bombs over Japan, 1/3 of them were dropping concussion bombs, the other third were mining the waters around Japan. And meanwhile, in February of '45, Iwo Jima, between Japan and the Marianas, was taken. A real costly thing. It was one of the worst battles anybody could ever imagine. And at any rate, I just wanted to mention that. And the other thing, I guess maybe I ought to mention that becomes memorable to me, I used to hang around with a bunch of farm kids. There were 13, 14 fellas. And a bunch of girls got into the circle there. That's where Mother got part of that circle. Is right. We were relatively close. 3 of us went to service. 2 of them were killed. But one of them stayed in the States until I was both trips out, I think. Well, no, they couldn't have been both trips out. But anyhow, shortly after D-Day, he was gone. They sent him in the last minute thing. He got into the invasion, and he died. Then there was another fellow that actually was fairly close to me that I lived with, or he lived with us, and he was going in to make good. He spent his time in the service, same time we went in, but he went out in 1944. 11 different campaigns that he was in, and one time I just missed the letters and he was gone. So I'm the only one remaining of the 3 of us. So it's, the good Lord just plain took care of us, that's all. And like it was, but the CBs were a great place to be, and I think we always feel that without the CBs, the war wouldn't have made it in the Pacific.
Did the big bomb
And they did
actually
everything.
take off?
Beg your pardon?
Did the big bomb actually take off from
The
one of
big
those
bomb
islands
actually
that
took
you
off from Tinian. That's where these 10 planes were, in this lengthened runway. They first said the bomb came from Guam, but it really didn't. It came from, later it's known now that it came from Tinian.
So was it there when you were there?
It was there when we were
That was
there.
when it was being
But
guarded?
there was another peculiar thing about this thing. In June, when I had the rumors, when Bucky Walters told me about the bomb, and that was prior to the first explosion out there in where was it, the White Sands
New
out there.
Mexico.
Yeah, in New Mexico. So, there you go.
Well, I read somewhere not long ago the name of the ship that hauled that bomb over there.
Oh,
I saw that in the paper.
well, the first I knew that they said that it came from Tinian rather than Guam was some sergeant in Ohio had taken photographs or pictures of the atom bomb, and which he wasn't supposed to have done at that particular time. He exposed them, and then he got in trouble.
What was the name of that plane that dropped the bomb? Enola Gay.
Enola Gay.
Enola Gay.
Yeah.
Yep.